All right, everybody, happy Tuesday. Welcome to our information session and student panel today. My name is Jenna Sekonic. I'm an Assistant Director of Undergraduate Admission here at Northwestern. You'll hear a little bit more about me in a second, but I think right now is a great time to have our students introduce ourselves. So Elizabeth, you want to take it away?
Yes, definitely. Hi, everyone. Welcome. My name is Elizabeth Bernstein. I am a fourth-year student here at Northwestern. I'm studying neuroscience and psychology on the pre-med track, and I've also been involved with a couple different student organizations during my time here at Northwestern, but we can chat more about that a little bit later. Leo, do you want to go ahead and introduce yourself?
Sure. Hi, everyone. My name's Leo. I'm from Washington, D.C. originally. I'm a theater and economics double major. I'm a senior, and on campus, I co-chair the WAMU Show, which is the largest student-written musical in the country. And I'm going to pass it over to Mary.
Hey y'all, my name is Mary and I am a third-year student here studying economics and learning and organizational change with a minor in global health. And around campus, I'm involved in Northwestern's Dance Marathon, which raises over $1 million each year for beneficiaries. Oh, and I'm going to pass it off to Aisha.
Hi everyone, my name is Aisha. I'm a second year from Oakland, California. I'm studying manufacturing and design engineering and political science. And some things I'm involved in and on campus, I do Design for America and I work with Adler Planetarium in downtown Chicago to help redesign their lighting system. And I'm going to pass it on to Ben.
Hi, everybody. I'm Ben. I'm a sophomore here at Northwestern. I'm originally from Eden Prairie, Minnesota, and I'm studying journalism with a double major in political science and a certificate in integrated marketing communication. And I do stuff with the radio WNUR, the college radio station on campus. And I think I'm the last one, so passing it back on to Jenna.
Awesome. Thank you for introducing yourselves, students. If you're watching this right now and you have questions for our students, please type them in the chat. We will get to them in a little bit, so definitely write those down. We'll try to get as many as we can. But like I said, my name is Jenna Sekonic. I'm an Assistant Director of Undergraduate Admission at Northwestern. I'm originally from just outside of Boston, Massachusetts, which is why I talk so quickly. In the office, I work primarily with students that go to high school in the northwest and western suburbs of Chicago, Indiana, Kentucky, Alabama, and Arkansas. So if that's you, hi, nice to meet you. But no matter where you're from, drop where you're from in the chat today. You may be able to find a neighbor in there, start a carpool from where y'all come to Northwestern, who knows. For the next 10 minutes or so, I'm gonna give a brief overview of Northwestern, and then we're gonna go back to our students and they're gonna answer y'all's questions. But it's always good to start with the basics. Northwestern University is located in Evanston, Illinois, and is home to 8,000 undergraduate students. Our students hail from all 50 states and over 75 different countries. If we expand it to our graduate students, more than 150 different countries are represented on Northwestern's campus. This geographic diversity is just one of many ways our students make our campus a diverse place to be, whether it's racial diversity, religious diversity, socioeconomic diversity, whether you prefer Coke or Pepsi, whether you call it Coke or pop or soda. Another common one is tennis shoes, gym shoes, sneakers. Argue amongst yourselves in the comments, but no, it's really great no matter all the types of diversity we have on campus because it really enhances the academic experience. Given our small discussion-based courses, our students really have the chance to benefit from this diversity by hearing experiences that may differ from their own, which we think benefits everyone. But our commitment to academics begins as soon as you apply to Northwestern and you apply to one of our 6 colleges. You are by no means stuck to that decision though. In fact, more than 70% of students at Northwestern choose to study more than one thing. It's gonna look a couple different ways, whether it's a double major, a major minor. You can dual degree where you graduate in 5 years with 2 bachelor's degrees, 2 tassels on your cap when you graduate, major minor certificate. You can even triple major in one of our schools if you're feeling extra ambitious. It's totally up to you. Take advantage of our unique academic structure at Northwestern. And what we like to call this structure our 6-school model. So we're one Northwestern home to 6 different colleges, the largest being the Weinberg College of Arts and Sciences, which is home to about 50% of our student body. Our second largest is the McCormick School of Engineering. I think McCormick is great for a whole bunch of reasons, but overall it's a unique whole brain approach they bring to engineering. They're ensuring that students are graduating not only as well-equipped and trained engineers, but as creative problem solvers ready to tackle on problems that we don't even know exist yet. Our School of Communication is fantastic. It's home to some of our popular majors like theater and radio, television, film. Our Medill School of Journalism, Media, and Integrated Marketing Communications is world famous. We like to joke it's a school with the longest name with the fewest number of majors because it's just home to one, journalism, which is awesome. Our Beaton School of Music is great because it's conservatory style. So students at Beaton still have access to amazing professors, resources, and performances without all the heavy competition that comes with the conservatory, and access to amazing liberal arts curriculum we really value at Northwestern. And last and certainly not least is our School of Education and Social Policy, fondly referred to as CESP on campus. I'm not just saying this as a CESP alum, but we like to refer to CESP as the smallest and mightiest school on campus, because every year it starts with about 50 incoming students, and that class actually grows to about 150 by the time those students are getting ready to graduate. I think that's a great example of the flexibility you will find at Northwestern. We really encourage our students to follow their academic passions no matter what school they're in. So by the time they're getting ready to walk the stage at graduation, they'll brag about taking classes in 4, 5, sometimes even all 6 schools, which is something we love to see. And the reason our students are really able to do this is because of the quarter system. So maybe you are like how I was in high school, you've never heard of the quarter system before. No worries. Maybe your school's on the quarter system, so you are a certified expert by now. Either way, we're gonna get on the same page today. Northwestern of the quarter system, meaning we break the year into 4 academic sections: fall, winter, spring, and summer, with the main academic year occurring in the fall, winter, and spring quarters. You will still have a summer, don't worry. The majority of Northwestern students will use that summer quarter for things like internships and research. In fact, most students will never take a class in that summer quarter. They'll never take class summer quarter, and they'll still graduate on time at Northwestern. So you have that quarter to do whatever you would like. Each quarter lasts about 10 weeks, and students take about 4 classes per quarter. What you decide to take classes in is really up to you. So you'll start off with something called distributional requirements. Basically what this means, a lot of universities have a list of classes that all first-year students take no matter their major. So everyone takes Calc 101, everyone takes, Chem 101, et cetera. We don't have that at Northwestern. Instead, these distributional requirements will vary based on your home school. So they'll be a little different for the School of Journalism versus College of Arts and Sciences. But either way, they're going to give that solid liberal arts foundation, take a deeper dive into your particular academic concentrations. The quarter system really allows for academic flexibility, so you can take those distribution requirements, the classes you need to complete your major or minor, and also some pretty fun classes as well that may not be directly connected to your major. So you should definitely ask the students about some of the fun classes they get to take at Northwestern. Another unique thing Northwestern besides the quarter system is our location. We're located in Evanston, Illinois. We think of the best of both worlds in Evanston. The first is that we are the quintessential college town. We are next to beautiful Lake Michigan, so you have those scenic views, also that really collegiate feeling campus, right? You have that college town with everything we'd ever need, from doctor's offices and grocery stores, just in a small community that really supports our students in Evanston. And then also we have Chicago. So Evanston is about 2 miles away from city limits, about 11 miles away from a downtown Magnificent Mile area in Chicago. If our students decide to go to Chicago, there's 2 ways they can get there. We have a free inter-campus shuttle that goes to Chicago, and that's because we actually have 2 graduate schools located in downtown Chicago, our medical school and our law school. But as an undergraduate student, don't worry, all your classes will be in Evanston. Those shuttles are a great way to get to maybe a research position at like Lurie Children's Hospital, a fellowship at our law school, or just like a great concert downtown. It's free and really easy to use. We also have the CTA, or the L, it's our transportation system in Chicago, multiple Purple Line stops in Evanston to get you to downtown. Hopefully you can figure out why maybe it's the Purple Line. We really enjoy purple at Northwestern. Hopefully you get that by the end of today. But there's so much to do both in Evanston and Chicago, and our students really get the best of both worlds. And I know many of you may have questions about admission and financial aid, so I'm happy to talk about that pretty briefly before we go into our student panel. So Northwestern is found on both the common application as well as the coalition application. Please use whatever your high school uses or whatever you're more comfortable with. We have 2 application deadlines. The first is our early decision deadline of November 1st. We do not offer an early action, we only offer early decision. So what that means is you should apply ED to Northwestern if we're your #1 choice school, right? Your closet is purple and white, just like ours. The fight song's your ringtone. You want to be on our campus, that's awesome. We love to see that. I say that for early decision specifically because you apply ED to Northwestern, you, a parent or guardian, and a guidance counselor at your school will all sign a document that states, I'm accepted to Northwestern, I will be attending, and I'll resend all other college applications. If me just saying that made your palms sweat a little bit more than normal, if you're not quite sold on Northwestern yet, all good. That's why we have regular decision. That application is due January 2nd, and you will hear back by April 1, so you have plenty of time to make your decision. But no matter when you decide, we're going to be looking at the same things. No matter when you apply, I should say, we're going to be looking at the same things. One of the first things we look at is your high school transcript. It's really important to note we look at your application, especially your transcript within context, meaning that when we look at an applicant who's coming from Indiana, we're not going to compare their grades to somebody who goes to school in Arkansas, right? Because that's apples and oranges. Just focus on doing the best that you can in the most rigorous courses at your school. So maybe for your school, it's AP or IB, or maybe it's just honors classes. We get to know your school well, so we just want to see that you're doing the best what's available to you. You also want to know what you're doing outside the classroom. All of our students, when they introduce themselves, they talk about all the cool things they get to do outside of the class. And that's really the Northwestern student. They're very active on campus, and we're going to see how you're going to add to that culture of involvement on our campus. So what are you doing when you're not in school? Is it sports? Is it fine arts? Is it a job or even family responsibilities? Anything that's not binging Tiger King on Netflix, we would like to know what you're doing. We also require test scores, either the SAT or the ACT. We have no preference. Just know we allow self-reporting test scores, so you don't have to pay for the official scores when you apply. And then also we super score both the SAT and the ACT now. If you have questions about what that means, I'm happy to answer those after our wrap up my session. We also require letters of recommendation, one from a college counselor and one from a core subject teacher at your high school. So core subjects are English, math, science, social studies, and a foreign language. Maybe you went to high school like mine though, where you didn't really get to know your college counselor super well. No worries. You can definitely supplement that with another adult in your life that knows you. All that we ask is they're painting a complete picture of who you are. So maybe you get your math teacher and your English teacher to show different sides of your brain, stuff like that. It is quality over quantity, I will say. So make sure you are picking the best people that can vouch for you, that can advocate for you. And then finally, essays. We'll look at your common application essay as well as your coalition application essay. Pick a prompt you can answer well and completely. And we have one supplemental essay, which is simply why Northwestern. With that, one quick tip of advice I'll give is be as honest and specific as possible. Not only honest and specific to you and all your interests and the exact reasons why you want to attend Northwestern, but also honest and specific to Northwestern. We shouldn't be able to copy and paste your essay into another school as why our school, and it makes sense. Wrapping up, I'm going to talk quickly about financial aid. There's 3 things to know about financial aid at Northwestern. The first is that we are 100% need blind for domestic applicants. So if you're a US citizen, permanent resident, or undocumented student, and you're want to attend Northwestern and you're applying for financial aid to attend Northwestern, that need for financial aid will not impact your admissions decision. In addition, no matter where you're applying from, if you're accepted, we will meet 100% of your family's demonstrated need. That's figured out by filling out 2 forms, the FAFSA and the CSS profile. Once you fill out those 2 forms, our office will come up with a number called an expected family contribution, or EFC. This is the amount of money your family is expected to contribute for your college education for that year. Any amount of money that goes beyond that, but is needed to cover tuition, room and board, books, Northwestern covers, and we cover that in the form of scholarships, grants, and sometimes work study, meaning that financial aid is 100% loan free at Northwestern. Those are numbers that we're really proud about because we want the students that deserve to go to Northwestern, that get into Northwestern, to be able to attend Northwestern, and finances don't get in the way of that. There's tons more information online about financial aid and admissions, so definitely check those out. And one last thing I'll say before I give it over to Elizabeth and our awesome students is that we know with the current situation going on right now that unprecedented isn't a big enough word to describe what's happening. First of all, we hope that you're staying safe and healthy at home with your families. We have a great resource online. So the entire Northwestern University has dedicated a website on COVID-19 and the university's response. There are FAQs on multiple subjects, including admissions, so definitely check those out. It's updated frequently. And in addition, our Director of Admission, Liz Kinsley, wrote a great blog about the situation, how it may impact admission. So definitely check those out as well. So check those out, stay safe, wash your hands. That's enough talking for me right now. I think we'll turn it over to Elizabeth so we can start answering y'all's questions. Go for it, Elizabeth.
Perfect. Thank you, Jenna, for all of that awesome information. And now we are so excited to start answering your questions. So we will kick it off with something that we love here at Northwestern, talking about traditions. So Leo, do you want to go ahead and talk about one of your favorite or a couple of your favorite traditions here on campus?
Yeah, so I have a lot of favorite traditions on campus. The first one I'm going to talk about is our week-long orientation session called Wildcat Welcome. So when you matriculate into Northwestern, you'll go through an orientation with about 10 or 15 other students headed by an upperclassman mentor known as a peer advisor. And so that peer advisor is going to lead you through all the basics about acclimating to Northwestern, like registering for classes and finding the buildings that you need to find, that kind of stuff. But also, you'll get to do some really fun stuff. My favorite is the Wildcat Dash. So this is before the first home football game. You get to run across the field on national television while your family and whoever is there for you, your friends, cheer you on. And then finally, you get to watch the first home football game from the student section for the first time. It's really fun. It's really special. I was a peer advisor twice, so I did it 3 times, once as an incoming student. And then the other tradition that I really love is Dillo Day, which is a day in spring quarter where we close our textbooks, we head out to the Lakeville for a day of music and fun and food. And there was a Ferris wheel last year, and we've had some really amazing music acts come through in recent years. Chance the Rapper, Wiz Khalifa, Young the Giant, MGMT was the headliner my freshman year. Yeah, so a lot of great traditions at Northwestern. Those are just a couple of my favorites.
Awesome. Thank you so much. So the next thing that some of y'all are curious about is the quarter system, which is obviously a really big part of life here at Northwestern. Ben, I know you have a double major between 2 different schools and also a certificate. So would you want to talk about some of the pros and cons of the quarter system and how that's helped you in your Northwestern experience?
Yeah, for sure. The quarter system is a tough giant to tackle all in one response, but I'll do my best. So I actually really enjoy the quarter system as opposed to your traditional semester school. Here at Northwestern, we break our academic year into 3 sections, 1 fall quarter, 1 winter quarter, and 1 spring quarter. Most students take off summer quarter, but you can also do research or take classes during that quarter as well. A lot of students also choose to do internships during that time. But for me, the biggest advantage of the quarter system is that you only take 4 classes at a time. And because classes move at a much faster rate than your traditional semester school within around 11 to 12 weeks, professors are allowed to specialize a lot more in the subject that they're teaching about. So you miss a lot more of these general education classes and instead find a lot of niches within those topics that professors are really passionate about and that they explore in detail during that time. You also end up usually taking more academic credits on the quarter system than you do on the semester system. So it's allowed me to add my integrated marketing communications certificate to my academic profile of things I want to get done before the quarter system is over. And also it adds a lot of added flexibility to a student's 4-year plan while they're at college. So you can take a quarter off. 1 quarter you can take 3 classes, another quarter you could take 5 classes if you need to speed up or slow down on your course load. And those are just a couple of the reasons that I enjoy it.
That's awesome. Thank you. You talked a bit about professors. We have some really awesome professors here at Northwestern, and something that's especially incredible about our faculty is really how accessible they are to students. So Mary, could you talk a little bit about your experience with professors and also kind of general accessibility of professors here at Northwestern?
Absolutely. So, as an econ major, I definitely have found myself in kind of some larger courses, but even as the courses do get larger, as large as like 60 students, then we are still able to interact with our professors as much as needed. Pretty much every professor I've known has had at least 3 hours worth of scheduled office hours every single week, but that's just what they put on their schedule. They also are very clear that if that time doesn't work for you, if you've got another class or work or something else, then you can just email them and let them know and set up another time that works for the both of you. One of my favorite memories about a professor is actually last year. I was in just an intro to macroeconomics class, nothing super exciting, but I remember all of our exams or all of our tests ended up falling on a Monday. And so the professor actually came in on Sunday afternoons and Sunday evenings, the day before those tests, to open up office hours, ask any last minute questions that we have. And so I think that that was really just reflective of what all professors do here on campus is they are here to help us succeed and make sure that we are learning everything that we can. And they really just want to keep building us up and really help us grow as students.
Thank you. I've definitely had such awesome relationships with my professors during my time here too. And professors have also helped me to connect some of those inside the classroom opportunities to outside of the classroom opportunities, like internships available near Northwestern and the accessibility of them. Aisha, I know you have a really awesome internship and co-op plan. So would you want to talk a little bit about some of those Chicago and Northwestern area internship opportunities that students have?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm actually participating in an engineering specific program that's called the co-op program, in which students can take off academic quarters to do like longer, more in-depth, like 6-month internships. So this coming summer and fall, obviously dependent on the coronavirus situation, I'm going to be working in Chicago, but living on campus and commuting down to work at a small product design firm. And that was an opportunity that I got entirely through Northwestern. The engineering school, as well as all of the other schools, have their own career departments where they help you not only find jobs, but do things like write your cover letter and resume, all that kind of stuff that you would need, how to interview. And so they have a career expo day where you can go in and talk to different companies and interview with different people, stuff like that. And it's all these really amazing companies coming in looking specifically for Northwestern students. And I think that because we live so close to Chicago, we have really amazing opportunities offered to us. Just in having such a great city with so many really amazing industries. So that's like a really great opportunity for all of us to really take advantage of, and something that I think Northwestern really helps to facilitate.
Awesome, thank you. And in terms of getting some of those internships, I know a lot of us have had experiences with those. But Mary, would you want to maybe talk a little bit about Northwestern career advancement and just kind of some of the roads to getting these opportunities?
For sure. Northwestern Career Advancement, or just NCA, is so unbelievably helpful. From just the minute I stepped foot on campus, I was very lost. I came in undecided and didn't really know exactly what I was interested, something to do with business, but didn't really know what even opportunities were out there. So I went and sat down with my career advisor, and she walked me through a ton of just different career opportunities, helped me set up a plan for networking and just deciding how I wanted to go about this, helped me come up with some organizations that I wanted to look into interning with. And that was really just the start of things. I then was able to start connecting with alumni, just kind of as informal chats to learn more about what they were doing as I was trying to get my bearings and figure out what career might be for me. And just so happened that one of those chats turned into an internship offer for the following summer. So that was really exciting as well. But outside of that, NCA, they also just have every resource imaginable. You can come in for interview prep. You can come in to have your resume reviewed, cover letter reviewed. You also don't even have to come in. The career advisors are so accessible just over email. So you can always just shoot them an email if you've got a resume deadline at midnight and you want them to look over it one last time for you, they can definitely get that done. And then I know Aisha also mentioned the career fairs are also huge. We are constantly having companies come into campus, and that's just being set up by Northwestern. So all you have to do is show up and go and learn about the companies and figure out what is really exciting to you.
That's awesome. Thank you. I will address the next kind of couple topics. So first off, to talk a little bit about the pre-med track at Northwestern. Something that I think is really important to highlight about pre-med at Northwestern is that it's really collaborative, and it is a place where students all want to help each other. And it's a place where I personally have actually found a lot of my best friends while I've been at Northwestern. Something really important about the pre-med track to also highlight is the Office of Pre-Health Advising, which is incredibly helpful in helping students to navigate what can be at times an overwhelming kind of group of courses and research and volunteer opportunities. We did actually an entire session with them on our YouTube channel as well. So if you want to kind of tap into more of that information as well, that's a really great place. But overall, it's just a group of classes that help you to be successful in medical school eventually, but Northwestern, kind of in keeping with our overall interdisciplinary focus, something really great is that students don't have to major in bio or neuro. You're obviously welcome to, but you can really study multiple things and study whatever you're interested in while also being on the pre-med track. That kind of flows into undergraduate research, which I've done as well. Northwestern has a really robust program of undergraduate research here, allocating about $3.5 million annually to undergraduate research. And so with that in mind, students can get grants. The Office of Undergraduate Research really helps students to find labs that they're interested in and really connect towards those interests and those questions, figure out whether they want to work with cells in a dish or they want to work with little kids in an infant cognition lab. So there are so many opportunities to do research at Northwestern, and those aren't just STEM focused. You can do research across so many different disciplines here. And then the third topic that I will address is kind of academic support. I know that kind of flows with a lot of questions about pre-med, which can be, like I said, a difficult curriculum, admittedly, having gone through it. It is not an easy set of classes, but Northwestern does have a lot of really great support systems in place. So Mary was talking about all of the professors that we have, the office hours, the fact that they'll come in on Sundays to help students before exams. But there are also peer-led study groups. There are different things like tutor rooms. So those can be led by graduate students pursuing PhDs in fields that are similar. So for example, for general chemistry, every single weekday from, I believe it was 12 p.m. to 6 p.m., there was a grad student pursuing a PhD in chemistry, just sitting in a room waiting to help students. And so while our TAs will never teach classes, they are a really awesome resource in helping students get access to some of that support that they do need. That was a lot of different things that I just mentioned. There's also a writing center in the library for kind of less STEM focused support, but really lots of different opportunities to get that support that you need. But kind of switching gears a little bit from some of the academically themed things we've been talking about, let's talk a little bit about life outside of the classroom. So starting with kind of finding community at Northwestern. I know, Ben, you're involved with quite a few different extracurriculars. Do you want to talk about the process of how you got involved with those and how those have kind of helped you to find your place on campus?
Yeah, of course. I love the community at Northwestern. I think that is something that just keeps me happy day in, day out, living there and taking classes there and whatnot. One of the things that I found community in was at the the college radio station on campus, WNUR. We have our own studio. It's located in Lewis Hall on South Campus. And I run a show with one of my first friends at Northwestern, actually. We both apprenticed our freshman year, and then we got our show our freshman spring quarter, and we've been running it together ever since then, until COVID stopped our spring quarter from happening this year. But that was a way that I found community and found a lot of friends here. Doing mock trial, extracurriculars helps to find a lot of that community. Some students choose to participate in Greek life, which is another way that you can find that community. And also through work, a lot of coworkers at, say, a research lab that you choose to participate in become important connections to your community. And yeah, that's how I found mine.
That's awesome. I know there are also a lot of questions and student organizations dedicated to the arts. So Leo, I know this is something you're passionate about. Do you want to talk about some of the different ways there are to get involved in arts at Northwestern?
Yeah, so at Northwestern, we have a lot of different art organizations. We have a huge, robust theater program. Our student theater boards produce anywhere between 60 and 80 productions every single year. So that's between the student groups and also the Wirtz Center, which is the producing wing of the theater department. We have 14 a cappella groups on campus. So if you're interested in singing and swaying back and forth, there's a way for you to get involved. You can also join comedy groups, whether you're interested in sketch comedy or improv, whether you want to do it live on a stage or, in a video format, or maybe a late night format like a la John Oliver or something like that in a long form. There are all different kinds of organizations that are going to be focused on that. We have a lot of dance groups. We have hip hop dance groups, ballet dance groups, musical theater dance groups, affinity interest dance groups. Whatever you want, it's going to be there for you. And then we also have rhythm and drumming groups. There are so many arts organizations on campus that sometimes it can almost be overwhelming. There are at least 5 shows happening every single weekend on campus. And to get involved, you can just approach any of these organizations at the Student Activities Fair at the beginning of the year. There are auditions periodically each quarter, known as general auditions, that cover a lot of the performing arts organizations that happen on campus. And there are also tons of visual art and non-performing arts that happen on campus as well. So whether you're interested in graphic design or painting, or you want to, write for a literary magazine or something like that, there are all these opportunities for you as well.
Thank you. That is awesome. I'm going to touch briefly on some of the student organizations that we have here that help students to kind of reduce stress. We've talked a bit about the building community part, but I do think this is something that Northwestern does a great job with, especially around finals week and reading week. So there are a lot of stress relief efforts. There are free massages in the libraries, therapy puppies, therapy miniature ponies, which I had never experienced before Northwestern, but let me tell you, they are equally as great, if not better, than therapy puppies. There's also just like free midnight breakfasts, and throughout the year, there's a lot of mindfulness activities, there's yoga, there's a lot of different ways to kind of help manage all of the stress that can accumulate, especially during finals week at Northwestern. And so I do think that it is something that students do a really great job with. Moving on from there, and kind of a similar vein to this community focus, we also have really great residential communities and a really vibrant residential life on campus. Aisha, I know you lived in a residential community, so would you want to talk a little bit about how that experience helped you to build community, and then maybe just touch a little bit on residential life as a whole, like the live-on requirement and what some of those options might be, noting that we also have a full session dedicated to residential life on our YouTube page as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So a really quick overview. As Elizabeth said, we have a 2-year live-on requirement, which means both first and second years all live on campus. And then after that, you can choose to either continue living on campus or live off campus. And when I say off campus, it's really not far at all. I know people that say that it's a shorter walk to their classes from their off-campus apartments than it was from their dorm rooms, their freshman and sophomore years. So off-campus housing is also really easy and convenient. It's divided, on-campus housing is divided into 3 types. So there's residential halls, residential communities, and residential colleges. Residential halls are just typical, like long hallways, doubles, singles, RA on every floor, that kind of thing. Residential communities are really similar, except you have a faculty in residence, which means there's actually a faculty member living in your building, which is a really, really nice way to be able to connect with faculty outside of the regular academic setting. They do all kinds of things like put on programming related to their classes and their research, but also just open up their doors to have a nice home cooked meal and let you pet their dog when you're missing home. And the last one is residential colleges, which is the smallest living option. I actually lived in a residential college for my first 2 years at Northwestern. it was the Chapin Residential College, which is the humanities residential college. So as an engineering major, you clearly don't have to be majoring in the thing that your college is themed on. We have all kinds of different themes, from the International House, which picks a different country every month and brings in food from that country, and they learn about that country, stuff like that. There are communications residential colleges, engineering residential college, all that kind of stuff. I've personally found the Humanities Residential College as a really great way to find my community on campus. Coming in as only an engineering major, I knew that I wanted to branch out a little bit and find friends that were interested in all kinds of different things, which the Humanities Residential College really helped me do. We have different events that are held weekly that are a really great way to find people interested in the same things as you. One of my favorites is the Chapin Cinema Club, which we have every Friday. So a faculty fellow will pick a movie and we'll all sit down, watch the movie, and then discuss it afterwards. And one of the things that's been really great for me to see is that even during this crazy time of a global pandemic, the whole community has made a really great effort to stick together and continue a lot of this programming. So we still do Chapin Cinema Club every Friday over Zoom. Our weekly newsletter that usually gets taped up to our bathroom door, they've started sending out in an email version. So stuff like that really helps you feel like you're still at Northwestern even when we aren't able to be.
Thank you so much. And kind of going hand in hand with the residential experience is food on campus. So Ben, do you want to talk a little bit about food on campus at Northwestern and some options for different dietary restrictions and folks who eat all across the spectrum?
Yeah, of course. So as a freshman, when you enroll and you live on campus for your first year, you'll have a cool little thing called your wild card. And it's a little purple, like almost looks like an ID. Anytime you go to any of the dining halls on campus, which are split up between our north and our southern neighborhoods, you hand the lady or the gentleman working the desk your Northwestern wild card, and you'll have unlimited swipes to access the dining hall. I myself am personally vegetarian, and I lived on North Campus, so I went to Sargent Dining Hall a lot. And I know that at every dining hall, but particularly Sargent's, they have a really good vegetarian bar where they'll have only, or they'll have vegan and soy-based alternatives to the meat options that they have in the dining hall. Your unlimited swipes also come with unlimited food and unlimited refills, all served buffet style. And also you get a small stipend of $100 plus, I think it's $125, in which you can spend at any of our on-campus dining options. So in our Norris University Center, we have places like Patty's Burgers or Mod Pizza, all of which you can use that allotted cash on your wild card to order food or get a coffee at the Starbucks or anything like that. You can also obviously use an actual credit or debit card, but I would advise you use the allotted money first.
Cool, thank you. Switching gears from some of our on-campus focuses, I know some people have questions about study abroad. We have a session on that, but Mary, I know you studied abroad in Switzerland. Would you want to talk about your experience with that, some of the types of programs that Northwestern has, and the time frame in which students usually go abroad?
For sure. So I studied abroad in Geneva last fall. So it was the fall of my third year here on campus. And I'd say that that's probably a very popular time for students to go and study abroad, usually either in that fall of your third year or sometime over the summer. It's nice to go and get to travel as well. But you really can study abroad any quarter your heart desires. I know a friend who also just wanted to get away from the Chicago winters for a quarter. So she decided to take winter quarter abroad. But our study abroad options are really in three different types. So first, you've got the Northwestern affiliated programs, which are directly through Northwestern. You've got the direct Northwestern programs and then the Northwestern affiliated programs. So Northwestern direct programs are where we actually have a satellite campus location in various different other locations around the world. So one of those locations is Qatar. You can go over there and be able to take classes just like you would at Northwestern with Northwestern faculty. The next level are those Northwestern affiliated programs. And so those are where we have coordinated with various different advisors and faculty members at other universities. So you're taking classes with a different university, but you're still obviously getting Northwestern approved curriculum credits. And then the final level are unaffiliated programs. And these are just any other program that you might find. Maybe you've got a friend from home who's going to Germany and you want to try doing the same program as them, but is not listed on Northwestern's website. You can absolutely make that happen. It just takes one extra step of meeting with your advisor and making sure that you can get all those credits transferred onto your transcript. But that being said, every student is able to get at least 4 credits when they go abroad. So that's a full quarter's worth of credits. Sometimes you're even able to stack up even more, get 5 or 6 credits, which is really nice as well. To touch a little bit on my personal experience studying abroad, I was in Geneva where I was doing this really cool program. Actually ended up being through the University of Geneva there. So it was one of those Northwestern affiliated programs. And it was 6 weeks of studying and taking classes. And then the second 8 weeks was interning with a local organization there. So I got to intern with the International Aid Society and really immerse myself, not just in Geneva culture, but get to learn more about global health, which is my minor. And Geneva is pretty much the hub of global health, and out of the entire world, that's really where everything is centered. The home of the WHO, the World Health Organization, and also a headquarters of the UN. So being in the middle of all of that kind of diplomacy there was amazing.
Awesome. And you mentioned a friend who had left for winter quarter because of the winter. Aisha, I know you're from California. Would you want to talk about what that transition has been like and how you, coming from a warmer climate especially, have found the Chicago winters?
Yeah, absolutely. That's definitely a question I get a lot, being from California. And I have to say, it's really so much better than I thought it would be. I know people will tell you once you say that you're going to Northwestern, like, oh my God, like you're gonna die there. It's totally crazy. But really, like, as long as you have like a long coat, like gloves, hat, scarf, all that stuff, you will be like totally fine. I actually think that Northwestern and the lake are really pretty in the winter. So like no complaints here. I actually sort of miss the cold now that I'm here. I got really used to running with my hat and my leggings and all that stuff. So you really will be totally fine.
Yeah, coming from New York, which isn't a huge adjustment, I can also say it's fine. I know for a lot of students, the one thing is that in high school, you often in a colder climate will drive from home to school or home to the supermarket. There is a lot of walking, but layers are great, and it is totally manageable. And honestly, the winter can be quite beautiful and fun at Northwestern. So there are some silver linings in the quite literally gray clouds. Transitioning a bit to some other questions we've gotten. We talked a lot about extracurriculars, and with a fast-paced quarter system, I know something a lot of students think about is balancing extracurriculars with school. Leo, I know you are involved in so many extracurriculars. In this past year, you were one of the co-chairs of the WAMU show. Would you want to talk about your experience balancing everything you do outside of the classroom with your double major and all you've got going on?
Yeah, so I definitely had a fun time balancing all the things that I've been involved in. In my 4 years at Northwestern, I've worked on the Dolphin Show, the WAMU Show, which I co-chaired this year. I was Arts Alliance's producer, Arts Alliance being one of the larger student theater boards on campus. I also produced for Arts Alliance my sophomore year. I served in our student government, ASG, as a senator for 2 years as well, and been involved with other things here and there. Including like religious life on campus. But basically it comes down to a question of priorities, and every year you kind of set out for yourself the things you want to be involved in, and you say, okay, well, this year I have to focus on my academics, and I need to make sure that I have this many credits for my econ major so I can take these classes that I want to take my junior year. And balancing those things. And I think as long as you plan things out in advance, it's really easy and really doable. I've also held down 2 jobs while I've been in college as well. One working in the admissions office, and also working in a bunch of theaters and other event spaces on campus. So, I mean, I've had a job as a student. I was involved with extracurriculars. I completed 2 majors, and I was able to finish my degree, both my majors early. So it's definitely doable. I think the quarter system is really essential to that, because you wouldn't have as much flexibility if we weren't on the quarter system, because you are taking on average 8 more classes over 4 years as compared to a semester system. But yeah, it's a question of just setting your priorities, making sure that you put things in your calendar and you know exactly how much time you have in your day, and being deliberate about how you're going to spend your time, and making sure that you're getting enough sleep and enough to eat and spending time with your friends on top of that. It's definitely doable. If I can do it, you can do it.
Thank you, Leo. And I know, Mary, you came in undecided. So do you want to talk a little bit about the process of how you arrived at what you're now studying, and also how that decision-making process kind of played a role in what Leo was just talking about, of figuring out different things you want to be involved with and do with campus?
Absolutely. So I did come into Northwestern undecided. For everybody who's wondering, if you're undecided, you apply into the Weinberg College of Arts and Sciences, and you will go from there. But once I was there, I started just going through Wildcat Welcome and talking with my peer advisor from that, talking with other people in my peer advisement group, and started finding out just more about business opportunities on campus and what roads I could take there, and found out about some really cool clubs to join. So then I started going and joining those, talking to even more upperclassmen, talking with my just freshman advisor, who was an econ professor, and learning more about what he thought were good plans for me, good classes for me to take around campus that might help me figure out a little bit more definitively what I wanted to major in. And that's how I really found out about the School of Education and Social Policy, to be entirely honest. I didn't even know it existed when I came into Northwestern, and I definitely didn't know that my actual major, Learning and Organizational Change, or LOC for short, existed inside that school. And so it was really just a matter of getting to talk with people and learn more about campus once I was on campus. And so the process then of switching between the schools, super fluid. You don't have to worry about that at all. I think I just filled out one piece of paper expressing why I wanted to transfer from Weinberg into CESP, and just talking about what I wanted to study, and met with an advisor who made sure that all of my course credits were going to line up. And that was that. It was very, very easy, and I was able to start taking classes immediately. So I didn't even make that transition until the very end of my freshman year. So you've definitely got plenty of time to decide on what you want to study and even what school you want to be in.
Awesome. We have done so many questions, but we will do a couple answers for our last question, which I'm sure a lot of you are wondering, and which is how we normally end your on-campus Northwestern experience anyway. So transitioning that into virtual is, why Northwestern? So Ben, do you want to go first and talk about why you chose Northwestern?
Yeah, of course. So originally, I think I chose Northwestern because I just wanted to leave my bubble. I wanted to go to a university where I thought the not only local but also global opportunities were endless, and where I could really kind of recreate what I had done from a blank slate, or not recreate but create something new. But I think that it's changed a little bit into the people that are at Northwestern. I think so many of the people have created the opportunities for themselves just by being at Northwestern, and the energy that is needed to create those opportunities and transform them into achievements and into future goals, even once you've achieved that, is something that I've never seen matched anywhere else. And so that, I think, is why I chose Northwestern.
Thank you so much. Aisha, do you want to tell us your why Northwestern?
Yeah, absolutely. So in high school, I knew that I was interested in a lot of different things, and I really wanted to find a place where I could really explore all of those things in depth, not have to one and have to the other, but really be able to commit to all my interests. And I think that Northwestern is really the perfect place for that, especially with the quarter system. It provides you with so many opportunities to be able to really get to explore all of your passions and the things you're interested in. I know that in a lot of places, if you do engineering, it's really hard to do anything else. But with the quarter system, I'm able to do engineering and also do political science. And I think that my experience has been really indicative of other people's experiences. Basically, everyone you meet is doing a double major, or a major and a minor and a certificate, things like that. So now that I'm here, I feel like I'm learning so much from all of the really amazing faculty and professors, administration here, but also from all of the students that surround me. I think one of the really special things about Northwestern is that everyone is so passionate about so many different things. And when you're passionate about something, you really want to share those things. So I feel like I've gained so much from all of the really amazing community here. I'm going to pass it on to Leo.
Yeah, so my why Northwestern was I knew that I wanted to study two things specifically. The first was theater, and the second thing was something math related, and that ended up being economics. And I pretty much stayed on that track all the way through my time here at Northwestern. And Northwestern was really the only school in the country that would allow me to study theater and economics at an elite level with a rigorous curriculum in the way that I wanted. Because most other programs would force you to choose. I think it's a testament to the quarter system, which is just really, really incredible. And something that I know a lot of the tour guides will also say is like reasons why I stayed and why I'm so passionate and an advocate for Northwestern is, yeah, just because of the people and the way that people support you and how the friends you make here are your friends for life. And I found my home here and it's been a really incredible experience. So I'm going to pass it off to Mary.
So definitely just echoing what y'all have said, I think that my why Northwestern definitely followed and is in our DNA. As cheesy as that slogan is, I think it absolutely just rang true to me when I was visiting schools, because I wanted a place that was both going to be big city and small town, which I had with Evanston and Chicago. I wanted somewhere that was going to have big D1 athletics and that football atmosphere, basketball atmosphere, while also being a very high academic institution, which I definitely have gotten here. And finally, I knew I was interested in both business and in healthcare and had no idea how I was going to be able to combine those two interests. But I knew that through the quarter system, that was absolutely going to be a possibility, as you guys have mentioned. So I've definitely been able to come up with a really unique combination of studies. And what actually keeps me here at Northwestern, once again, the people. I think even in the people, you see this trend of Northwestern students can really do both. We are incredibly passionate and driven and love every single club, every single class that we are a part of. But at the same time, we're just college students and we like to have a good time and we like to hang out with each other. And so to me, that has been so valuable, just being able to have people that are going to build me up and push me to succeed, but are also going to be there when I'm like, I just need a break. I need to hang out tonight.
Awesome. Thank you so much, everyone. I definitely share the sentiments of your why Northwestern. And for me, it's also been the people. And like I was talking about earlier, that really collaborative environment that allows you to do so much. And with all of those wonderful answers, I will pass it back off to Jenna.
Thank you so much, Elizabeth, and thank you for watching this panel. Hopefully it was helpful. Definitely check out in the chat if you want to put in your information so you get to find out when we have other great virtual programming like this. Thank you to the students that helped in this panel. We really appreciate it. You're not quite off the hook yet, though. I'm going to ask you for one more thing. So I have everybody go around and just describe Northwestern in one word. So Elizabeth, I'll have you go first.
Opportunity. Leo?
I would say fulfilling. Ben?
Mine is home. Mary?
Welcoming. Aisha?
Mine is passion.
And the word that I would pick is empowered. And I couldn't have said it better myself with all these words the students chose. So hopefully this was helpful. The students that are watching, thank you again for watching, spending time with us. Like I said earlier, stay safe, stay healthy, and go Cats. Bye all.